It's time for the Las Vegas Sportsline. Brought to you by the Golden Nugget with sports director Tony Miller.
Money won is twice as sweet as money earned.
Presented by WagerTalk.com.
And good afternoon, everybody. It is the Friday edition of the Las Vegas Sportsline, our last show before the holiday. We'll be off until Wednesday. Teddy Covers is here. Jared Justice is at the controls. I'm Dave Cokin. I'm knocking the microphone away from where it's supposed to be.
Happy holidays, Dave.
Happy holidays to you, too, sir.
Yeah. So last show till what?
Till Wednesday.
Huh?
Yes, we have 3-day work weeks the next 2 weeks of the show. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday next week, and then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday again the week after that. We'll take off nice 4-day weekends for the holidays, and excited as always for Christmas. And of course, for you, it's a cool thing because you have a son, and kids like this time of year a lot.
Sure, but the bottom line is, do you take the day off? I don't take the day off.
No, not really off.
Yeah, exactly.
But,
so
if you work things properly, you might be able to have a few extra hours to kind of sit around and take it easy.
Christmas, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day tend to be light days.
Yes,
for sure on the betting card. But in terms of an actual day off, no, maybe. MLB All-Star break's coming.
Yes, it's Delmar. Delmar beckons, okay? Let's get out of town. We'll talk about the football game that already got played. First, Toledo and Florida International. Toledo gets a great break to start the game when FIU muffs the opening kickoff, 7-0. And from that point on, it was pretty much all Florida International, even though the final score is close. And bizarre finish. Which I did not see, Teddy, but it had an impact on total bettors because Toledo scored on the final play of the game and then kicked an extra point. Apparently, there seems to be some dispute as to whether there should have been any time left for them to kick the extra point, which they don't do in college.
Well, the record I'm showing is saying there was 2 seconds left.
Well, there seems to be some dispute about whether there were actually 2 seconds left or not. So it ends up 35-32. FIU wins, and FIU gets the cover, and they are the first of the underdogs to win the game so far this year. Eastern Michigan did cover against Georgia Southern, but Western Michigan's playing BYU. That's why I had that on my mind. Toledo, the first of the favorites to lose outright.
Sure, and the old bull maxim, if you're taking a dog plus the points, you better take him on the money line. It's the first dog to cash.
Eastern Michigan cashed.
Sure, Eastern Michigan cashed at the close. They didn't cash at the open.
No, the open was pick 'em, I believe.
It's the first dog that actually, from open to close, cashed. But as we've seen so far in bowl season, Eastern Michigan, the only one to cover without winning the game straight up. When you're betting dogs in bowl season, Dave, you have to have money on that. You have to have at least some percentage of your wager on the money line.
Even on a big dog, perhaps, as Western Michigan is a double-digit dog against BYU. The Cougars leading that game early, 7-0. We'll keep you posted if anything happens in the famous Idaho Potato Bowl. Meanwhile, they did it yet again last night. They've got to lead the league in this category. It's not a stat I check. Maybe I ought to. Worked out for me because I did have the Golden Knights last night. And the empty net goal.
Never in doubt.
Oh, boy, that made it a nice winner. I created a -1 in the game. So I would have been satisfied with the push, to be quite honest, because they were down 2-0 and came back to take the lead. But I didn't complain when they scored the fourth goal and got past the -1.5 as well.
So how do they keep doing it? Is it random that they keep getting the empty net goals?
I don't know.
Is it pure, or are they doing something right? In terms of putting the puck around.
I think it's
you watch. I mean, I watch no hockey. So
yeah, I think that's kind of random, but they keep doing it. And the Golden Knights, that's a good win for them last night because they actually played extremely well for the entire game, except for about a 1-minute stretch at the end of the first period where they gave up both of the Islander goals. Outside of that, it was all Golden Knights last night. Thomas Greiss did a great job to keep the Islanders in it, but the Golden Knights pick up yet another win at home, and boy, that home ice is really strong.
Yeah, and not obviously when you're laying one, when you're like, all right, I'm going to lay it, and I'm going to lay it minus a goal and a half. You know that you're interested in that home ice advantage.
Oh yeah, it's big. All right, we've got plenty to do today. Aaron Kessler will be sitting in for Tony Miller. We've got our complete NFL Behind the Counter report coming up today, so we'll have plenty of action there. Meanwhile, we can tell you that BYU has gotten the ball back, still 7-0 midway through the first quarter. They're inside their own. Oh, it is second quarter, excuse me. Yeah, that's right. The game started at 1 o'clock. So low-scoring game so far in the Potato Bowl, where, by the way, BYU has never won a game on the Boise State blue turf. They are 0-5 their lifetime, so maybe the fact they're not playing Boise State today will help them out and get them a win on that turf. Let's go to our updates, or not updates, but previews, as we get rolling with today's Friday. MJ Christensen, 4 at 4.
1, 2, 3 into the 4.
Put the fours up. Put the fours up, I said. Do it right now.
Tonight's action is just around the bend, and the guys want to get your night off to a great start.
4.
It's the Las Vegas Sportsline's 4 at 4.
Not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4. Unbelievable.
And if you're wondering about one of the best pro football games this weekend, we're saving the Ravens-Chargers Saturday battle for our marquee matchup later in the show. Let's take a look at some hoops tonight. And we've got the Bucks and Celtics matching up in Boston. Celtics obviously have come on after their slow start. The Bucks 21-9, their best season starting record since 1990.
So you never talk about this is going to be the Eastern Conference Finals, but this is the Eastern Conference Finals right here. You know, these
Good
are the two
chance.
best
Raptors
teams.
fans might want to argue that, but I think you're probably right. These are the two strongest teams.
Watch and see. This
Yep.
is the Eastern Conference Finals. But once again, the markets are knee-jerking when Boston is missing a guy. Tonight, Al Horford is going to be out for the Celtics. One of several. I think who else is not playing? Marcus Morris not going to play tonight either.
Do they ever have a full lineup?
No, and the market's always knee-jerk against it. And the Celtics, I mean, I'm in no rush to step in front of Boston. Milwaukee's laying 1 right now. I think I have a lot of respect for the Bucks, but not in this point spread range.
All right, let's move on and check out the game at Staples. Lakers always a popular betting option, and they'll be at home tonight, and it's also a national TV game. So this will be a heavy volume game as they take on Anthony Davis and the New Orleans Pelicans.
Yeah, and of course, all the intrigue.
Ooh. Do you think LeBron's going to get fined for the what is tampering?
I don't know. I mean, I pay
kind of,
zero
you know, I don't.
Who's going to get
personally, I don't
fined?
care. I don't care.
Sure. And people, when you talk to someone outside of the industry, and they're like, "What do you do?" They always ask you 2 questions: A, who's going to win the Super Bowl, and B, where's this free agent going? I'm like, I'm not in anyone's head. I don't know what the And
no, LeBron's. And look, and New Orleans responded
him?
and said, "We're not stupid. We're not trading the guy," which is smart.
As they should.
Smart, yes.
I'd rather go down in flames and get nothing. Than
I'm keeping Anthony Davis for as long as I can if I'm the Pelicans. If eventually he leaves, that's one thing. But there's no chance I'm trading this guy. Even if he says I'm leaving, I'm probably still not going to trade him. Well, maybe I would at that point.
Sure. Meanwhile, for this game tonight, there's under money, and I'm surprised by it. New Orleans is such a fast-paced team. And this has the feel of a game that's going to be, 2 teams that want to race up and down the court. I think pace-wise, this game might be, 231 and a half. That looks a little bit on the low side to this better.
On the college side, Oregon and Baylor, an interesting matchup between 2 teams that are hoping will get better, to get better as the season goes along. I think Oregon will. In fact, I would not be surprised if by the time the Pac-12 tournament rolls into Las Vegas, I don't think it's inconceivable they'll be the team to beat in the Pac-12. They've got a ton of size. I like Pritchard a lot, the guy who kind of runs the show. But right now, Oregon is kind of trying to put the pieces together, and they'll be without one of their significant pieces tonight. Bol is still missing. Son of Manute, who is he's a young talent.
He is.
He's going to be really good. He can shoot the ball from outside. He can do a lot of other good things as well. But he won't be playing tonight, and that has created some movement in the line as Baylor is getting some play at the windows. I'm not sure I agree with that. I didn't play the game, but Baylor has not impressed me in what I've seen of them.
No, and I mean the signature win, they just beat Arizona, and then
Arizona was awful in that game, absolutely awful. By the way, Baylor out-rebounded Arizona in that game, 51-19. Which gave me a play on Arizona against Montana the next game out, because it's like their manhood had to get questioned in that game, and Arizona did come out and play better against Montana. But evidently Baylor can hit the glass, but they're not going to have a dominating one would think, rebounding sessions against this very tall Oregon team, even without Bull.
Well, the Baylor responded by coming home and losing to Stephen F. Austin.
Yeah.
Straight up as 13-point chalk. So I think some of the market reaction here is Baylor's with their ears pinned back a little bit off that embarrassing home defeat.
And Buffalo, well, I'll tell you what, talk about ambitious scheduling. They've beaten West Virginia on the road. They just beat Syracuse on the road. And now they're on the road against another strong Power 5 entry as they visit Marquette. I didn't play the game. On my numbers, if you take away all the variables, I think Buffalo might be better than Marquette. But it's a really bad scheduling spot for them. And that has created some interest at the windows with Marquette getting the play from the bettors.
Of course. I mean, from a pure spot standpoint,
right.
There isn't a soul on earth that's going to take Buffalo off a straight-up win, in the Carrier Dome. All that being said, Buffalo's a better team, and they're catching points.
They are.
How tough are they? We find out.
You got 3 teams right now, and there might be more, but I'm 3 right off the top of my head from non-power conferences that could be playing for a long time in March Madness. Gonzaga is the obvious choice, and then you got this Buffalo squad, and Nevada, obviously.
Okay.
These 3 teams are really good, and I would be surprised if they're not playing on Sweet 16 weekend.
Well, you know how the committee will work. They'll schedule them all against each other.
They'll probably, yeah. Buffalo and Nevada probably going to play each other in the second round.
Yeah, exactly. and one of them will lose the tournament and get a 15 seed.
Yeah, really. But they're legit. I don't know. I'll tell you one thing. If Buffalo can go on the road to Milwaukee and win this game tonight, you got to look at them as a top 10 team.
Legitimately.
Yeah.
And talent-wise, I wouldn't sell them short,
Oh, no. They're not sneaking up on anybody.
No.
And good luck to the rest of the MAC playing that squad. Okay, it is time to check things out with what's happening down at the Golden Nugget. Aaron Kessler's joining us today, sitting in for Tony Miller. How are you, Aaron?
Pretty good, Dave. How about yourself?
Good. Hey, favorite finally didn't cover in the Bulls, so I assume you guys on the other side of the counter finally got to keep a little money this time.
Yeah, it's actually been a pretty decent bowl season for us so far. We've been doing pretty well, and this game was no exception.
What do they have rolling? I know there was some late money on Western Michigan in this game against BYU. What did you close at?
We closed at 10. We got a decent influx of Western Michigan money coming in today, but it's not a huge decision for us by any means.
Well, the big decision's coming down with 2 weeks to go in the Ultimate Football Challenge, and we've mentioned them a few times because they've been on top for a while. Monster Lock is in first place, but the lead has shrunk a bit. This is going to be some horse race going to the finish line.
Yeah, it's always fun. Keep it exciting, and people love to follow and see who's doing well in these things. So we've got a nice little battle at the top, only 1.5 points between first and second, and we've got a ton of people within 5 points of first. So it could really get interesting the last couple of weeks.
And, of course, they don't have to have the selections in until tonight at, I believe it's 10 o'clock, right?
Yes, 10 o'clock tonight's the deadline.
Are you expecting a lot of bowl plays, or are the top guys focusing more on the NFL these last couple of weeks?
I feel like we get more NFL play. You might get some more late play on the bowls. You'll have a little better handle on who's going to play and who isn't, but these bowls only run until Monday, so we're not going to know until later tonight what they come in with.
Well, let's take a look behind the counter. NFL action, obviously, on center stage. As long as the NFL's playing, everyone's betting. And we got 2 games for tomorrow. Let's talk about the Redskins and the Titans down at the Golden Nugget. What kind of action are you seeing, and what kind of action are you expecting, side and or total?
It's been a little lighter on that one. We've gotten mostly Titan money so far. And the Redskins are one of those teams, people just have not been betting the Redskins all year. And now with Josh Johnson a quarterback, I don't think you're very likely to see that changing.
We'll give you a little scoring update here. Jamari, I forget his last name.
Bogan.
Bogan, there you go, the big running back for Western Michigan. He just broke a big one, 33 yards to the end zone, a 4-play, 40-yard drive, and with 3 minutes to go in the half, it's all even at the Boise Potato Bowl, or whatever it is, in Boise. 7-7 between Western Michigan and BYU, so underdog bettors happy with what just transpired. We will look at this game more in depth later on, as it's going to be our marquee matchup. But what's happening as far as the betting market's concerned on the Ravens and Chargers?
That's been a little bit heavier on the favorite, but we've also gotten some pretty decent Baltimore money. I know you're seeing some Baltimore money around town from some very sharp guys. So I'm not sure which way it's going to head here.